Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to your reading. This is a general reading for all Scorpio rising and all Sun, Moon, or Venus placements in Scorpio. I will bring in astrological influences for parts of this reading, so if you're not sure of your placements, simply search the internet for a free natal chart. Enter your birth date and your time of birth information if you have it, and it will generate a birth chart for you that will include your rising sign, your ascendant. When I do refer to placements in houses, those houses are based on Scorpio rising. So if you have a different rising sign, be sure to check that out when I get those readings posted as well. I've shuffled and cleared your cards, and I'll do a quick shuffle cut so that we can start your reading for the month of June. Remember, this is a general reading, and no individual messages are intended as you would find in a personal reading. I'm going to draw one card from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck first that we will use at the end to sort of pull everything together. And we have Yin. Yin is feminine energy. I'm going to put that up here. We'll come back to that. I will read from the Oracle book to help us interpret. Okay. I've already shuffled these cards, so let me just cut quickly. I'm going to pull 5 cards for this monthly reading. It's a general reading, and this first card is going to be your focus topic, and that is your work. 3 of Pentacles, or works. Doesn't have to be your job. Then you have Dominion, which is the 2 of Wands. That's your the domain over which you feel control, that you can influence. And then we have, for the challenge, we have Queen of Wands, fire energy. And when 2 of Wands was fire energy. Pentacles are earth energy. Oh, great. And then to overcome the challenge that this is how you'll meet that challenge. We have the Magician. Very nice card. And then finally, for your outcome, we have Temperance. And the little notation they have here for this card in this deck, this is the Sun and Moon deck. The notation they have for that is art. Okay, we'll clarify these as needed, but right now let's go ahead and jump into the reading. Okay, so your topic this month, even though this is the only Pentacles that we find, it looks like whatever energies we discuss, whatever challenges, these are going to be in the realm of whatever you apply your industriousness to. When you are either at work earning your living, or you are working on a hobby, or working in the home, working in your dominion, then you're going to be, that's going to be influenced by what these cards tell us right here. Now the threes are about groups and expansion and insight. And I'm glad it brings up in the topic of insight here, because you've got 2 retrogrades. We all do have 2 retrogrades going on. We have the full moon that's going to be happening here in a couple of days, and this is very much about using insight to revise and work, establish goals and work towards them. Okay, so we've got work, industriousness here as our focus. Oh, and by the way, they're not talking about brand new venture here. What they're talking about is something where you've been learning and practicing for a while, and you're getting it down. You're starting to get recognized in this field that you're working in at work, maybe, or you're feeling very competent in your hobby and very established, and it's starting to bring back some satisfaction. Okay, well, let's talk about the 2 of Wands, Dominion. In the 2 of Wands, in the traditional deck, you have a gentleman, an obviously well-to-do gentleman, standing out on his balcony, and he's holding 2 wands. And you can see here you have a woman, a female it looks like, holding 2 wands. And she has a little knapsack as if she's setting out on a journey. Now, the wands are about planning. They're about having lots of energy and being inspired to do something, but it's not just a careless, impulsive jumping into something. It's planning. You're doing it with planning and design. You're using that inspiration and that energy to wisely, so that whatever new undertaking is before you, you're thinking about it, and you're not going to go into it recklessly. one of the ones she holds behind her to the side, showing that she's not, if she's not holding both of them forward as if running toward whatever this is that she's considering. And again, this is fire energy, inspired planning. This is the energy that's going to help you in focusing on the work that you have ahead of you. And let's look at the challenge that's going to come up. You have Queen of Wands. Okay, as a person, the Queen of Wands is very attractive and charming, very charismatic and flirtatious even. But she, and part of that is because of her energetic, vivacious personality. Now, queens are the mastery of their element, fire, but she pretty much applies it to her domain, which in traditional tarot, that would be the castle and the people within it, people in her family, friends, anyone, any guests, people she loves and cares for, people she works with in her domain. So dominion here, your dominion is your domain. Now, if you work, let's say you work in a classroom, a school, the classroom is your domain. You're the teacher there. You are the Queen of Wands in that domain. If you work in an office, then whatever department, depending on your level, whether you're a manager, supervisor, how long you've been there, how highly you've been promoted, that would be your domain, your dominion. So whatever work applies to you, whatever you're connecting with here, something you feel responsible for. Works are something we feel responsible for, even if it's a hobby, if it's a fun pastime, if it involves applying our talents and skills and learning and getting better and improving in order to control the product and to produce something that we're proud of and that brings fulfillment and joy, then that is work. So these three cards tell me if you are the queen, and I say this, the reason I'm being hesitant is because I find it difficult to identify people in a general reading because it is general. Personal readings, it's different. But with general readings, I feel the energy and I don't really see who it could possibly be. So I don't know if this is a mother figure, if it's a friend of yours, if it's you, if it's a sister, a supervisor, a boss, someone, a colleague that you work with on a project. But whatever energy this is, it is a master. It's a master of the fire energy of inspiration and planning and design. And this is going to be a challenge to you. It looks like you may have a challenge ahead of you in terms of either keeping your inspiration going, or maybe too much inspiration, and you find which makes you feel more impulsive, and it's hard to control. I think as long as you're applying that wand, that Queen of Wands energy to your domain, and maybe not encroaching on others. In other words, don't level up to the King of Wands. He applies his energy to the kingdom. So maybe just work, whatever project that you are being held accountable for, whatever project you volunteered for, your classroom, your office, your home, that challenge may be to apply it carefully with caution and planning to that dominion. How is the Magician going to help you rein in? Okay, yes, you need to rein in. That's what's happening here. You could become too scattered with all of the abundant energy and inspiration coming to you from the Queen of Wands. You could become too scattered. You're applying things, trying to learn too many things at once instead of becoming. Yes, you're the challenge. I see it now. The challenge is to become the Queen of Wands. And the queen, you cannot become the queen and master something unless you're willing to become, you don't want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. You want to be the master of this area right here. So the magician is going to help you do that. This magician, wonderful, the master manifester, this young lady, this guy, when I say, when I respond to the gender that I see on the cards, it doesn't mean anything. Energy can be masculine or feminine, no matter what your gender is. The magician has all the possible tools at his or her fingertips, all the elements, fire, air, water, and earth. And you can see them all represented up here. The wands, fire, you have the cups, the water, you have a sword, which is air. And then do I see, where did the wands, oh, there's the wand right there. The wand is always the one with the growth on it. The magician can draw on his or her spiritual tools to manifest in the earthly realm. And if you focus your energies as you need to on whatever this applies to in your life, whatever works those are, if you focus and you practice in the mundane world, the earthly realm, in the everyday, and you use the practicality, you're going to find that you have great spiritual help with this. Great spiritual help. The spirits are here to aid you in this. And before I talk about the final outcome, I want to talk about some things that will be happening astrologically and see how that plays into this, and might have even guided when I pulled the cards. First of all, you've got a full moon coming up on the 3rd, and that's going to be in your second house. Scorpio, your second house involves money, work, okay? Yes, you've got a full moon. Your work ethic, your values, your priorities, and your self-worth. Your self-worth. And that's related to the Queen of Wands. You want to become a master of that. Okay, so in this second house of work, we have a full moon on the 3rd. What happens with full moons? They force you to stop and reflect, to think back. Since the last full moon, and the last full moon was that full moon eclipse we had back on the 5th of May, and it was a very, very forceful one. It's really forced you to stop and think, look back, review. So what's happening is, because this full moon is coming up in a few days, you're going to be looking back, and you're going to have, because it's the moon, you're going to have increased intuition regarding your work, your money, your work ethic. You're going to uncover, you're going to have a higher awareness of yourself and your approaches to money and work. You're going to understand yourself better, perhaps your hidden agenda. You know, we will tell people, when people say, well, why are you doing that? We give a reason. It's not always the real reason, the hidden agenda that we don't often examine. Well, the full moon's going to make you do that. And this full moon is an exciting one because it is aligned with a place in intergalactic space called the Great Attractor. And it's a center of gravity, a huge center of gravity in a distant galaxy that's outside of ours. And it has an incredible gravitational pull. Well, we are aligned with that. And you're not just going to have the usual intuition that's heightened by a full moon. And remember, full moon illuminates in a way that a new moon doesn't. It illuminates the unseen. So this is why your intuition is going to be raised very, very much, and especially since this full moon is aligned with the Great Attractor. So you are really going to gain some insights when you start reflecting on this topic of work. Today. And now I'm starting to see why we have the yin card with this reading. Yin is feminine energy, and feminine energy is tied right up to the moon. Now you also have 2 retrogrades coming up. Pluto, the planet that is right now in Aquarius, it came to visit Aquarius for a couple of months, and I call Pluto the Terminator because Pluto rules death and rebirth. The death of old and then the rebirth of the new. It also rules deep review and reflection. It's very introspective. And just like the Terminator at the end of the movie says, I'll be back. Well, Pluto's telling Aquarius, I'm going to go back to Capricorn. I told him I'd be back, and I'll be back here too. Because Pluto got the lay of the land in Aquarius. It knows what it needs to tackle, and it's going back to Capricorn. So it's going to be in your third house, which means it needed to examine your communication style a little bit more and the way you think, your outlook, your social interactions. So I think very much tied up with this and the fact that the Queen of Swords is very sociable and she loves to interact with people. People find her very charming. I think that's related to your communication style. Pluto's headed there to close up some unresolved issues related to your communication style. So think about how your people relate to you at work, how people relate to you in whatever domain you're going to be focusing on for this month of June. Pluto is going to close that out and bring forth, you're going to step into your power, your full power. Although you might have been playing with it while Pluto was there before, this next, well, 7-8 months while Pluto's going to be there again, that's going to be when you really refine it and you really become the master. You become the master of your communication and your social interactions. You understand how others perceive you now, and that's going to start advancing you in your work, in your domain. But then you've got one more very important retrograde coming up in the middle of the month, along with a new moon. The retrograde is Saturn. Saturn is your inner parent. And Saturn may feel like your inner parent is saying, maybe you're getting a little too enthusiastic, a little too energetic, running around. Remember, we talked about applying your energies in too many different ways and not becoming the master of any of them. So Saturn is retrograding into your creativity, directly related here. Your house of creativity, romance, your childlike spirit. So maybe you've just been a little too youthful and not quite serious about your work domain lately. And Saturn is going to retrograde. You're going to be doing some very, very deep examination of and heighten your self-awareness with this, the unseen aspects of the topic here, the topic of work. And remember, it's all kinds of work, not just your 9-to-5 job. It's the work that makes you feel enthusiastic and inspired, and maybe you've lost that and you're going to be bringing it back. Okay, so that's the June highlight for all of the signs is deep reflection and review. And this is why that full moon and Pluto and Saturn retrogrades, you're not going to be able to help yourself. You're just going to find that kind of thinking dominates right now. You really are into it. Maybe you've avoided things before, but now you think about them. They're coming to the forefront. And then finally, we're having a new moon, which the day after Saturn goes back into Capricorn, we have a new moon. Where did it go? We've got the new moon on the 18th, and that is going to be in your shared finances. Okay, so this is going to bring us back to the Magician. Okay, remember, the Magician is going to help you overcome these obstacles here, by using all of the tools at your disposal. Well, it just so happens that the new moon is in your 8th house along with the Sun and Mercury. Now, that happens to be mysteries. Again, review and reflection. So, new moon, Sun, Mercury. Mercury, communication about shared finances and about unknown topics, unseen aspects of yourself, or aspects you haven't explored for a long time. So they're relatively unseen. But all of that is going to be very, very busily. When you're reflecting, you may feel overwhelmed because Mercury's moving a little faster than it was when it was retrograde. It's got to make up for lost time. So here it is with the Sun in this 8th house of shared finances, which brings us back to your full moon house with money and work. So it looks like your thoughts are pretty much there. You may have put romance on the back burner. You may have put your domestic life on the back burner because you feel like you just can't stop thinking. But don't worry, all of those busy thoughts are going to slow down when everything moves into Cancer. But when that new moon comes on the 18th, after all this reflection that you're doing, The full moon is the time to set your intentions and make some goals, okay? You need to make those goals using all the tools available to you, not just your enthusiasm and your youthful spirit, but your intellect, the air energy. You need to use your cup energy, water energy, which is love and emotion. So make sure that comes into it. Part of that emotion is, how do I feel about this job? I've been reflecting and thinking about it, digging deep for a couple of weeks. And I still am. And what's it telling me? What changes do I need to make in my life? That's this related to all of these. And I missed one. Oh, because we already talked about wands and we did air and cups. I'm still missing, oh, earth. Well, earth is prevalent. That's your whole topic for the month. So, okay, let's come to the possible outcome. Yay, temperance. So it looks like Saturn, the grown-up inner parent, has tempered maybe any excess energy, excess inspiration or enthusiasm, and helped you tame it and apply it with wisdom and with the spiritual guidance that the magician gives you, the master manifester, and helps you manifest it in a balanced, moderate way. Temperance is moderation and balance. And do you see how it's notated there as art? And do you see the yin and yang figures? Now I can totally see why that was the card that was drawn for this. They gave us that card because you're going to be using your master feminine energy in the area of wands to bring a little more female balance into the situation so that you achieve yin yang. You've got the total balance, and the angel of moderation, the angel of temperance. You're going to feel so good by the end of the month. You are going to feel so good with all of the closure and progress you're making. Now, don't forget too that you have Jupiter up there in your or over there in your fifth house of, no, it's not. Your Jupiter is in your seventh house, which is your marriage and partnerships. So it's there for a year. So I think by bringing everything else into balance, I think all that busy running on the wheel that's happening in your mind right now about what to do at work, how are people looking at me, how do I need to change that, do I need to change that, all of that busyness, you're going to bring it under control, and you're going to be the master of your domain, still enthusiastic, still have that youthful spirit, but you're going to apply it in a moderate way, a tempered way, and your life will be back in balance. Okay, well, that's all I have for you in this monthly reading. I will be posting weekly readings that focus on different aspects, such as love and relationships or money and career as the month progresses. But then we'll also do a June check-in before the end of the month. And I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it gave you some insight about what the month of June is bringing to you. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you liked it, I'd love for you to subscribe if you wish. And please come back. Thank you.